All right, guys, what's going on? I've got the 462 done. West Coast cover, bark box, uni filter on it, all that kind of deal. I got the suspension kit in, and I'm going to tell you this saw was pretty stiff from the factory. Probably didn't even really need the suspension kit, but I'm going to tell you, putting that suspension kit in, it makes a world of difference. Because these are the rubber grommets that you get with most of the new Stihl spring saws. This comes on the 400. No, I'll take that back. It comes on the 500, the 661, and the 462. The 500s are a little different, but they're not much different. They're kind of yeah. Let me go get one. I'll show you. They're this number right here. This side, of course, plunges in or whatever. But yeah, it's really stiffened that saw up. And honestly, I may end up throwing I may leave a 2-foot on it, but I may end up throwing a 28-inch bar on that thing. I don't know for sure yet. And putting the 2-footer on the 500i, I know a lot of people are going to say, well, that's kind of silly, but that 500i is still a little loose, even with the suspension kit. It ain't terrible, but it's a little looser than what I'm used to. Of course, I'm used to running the Huskies, and never ran a whole lot of the rubber mount Stihls or whatever. But anyway, this 462 feels really good. It's honestly, to me, it feels a little stiffer than the, that bar, it bends the bar before it moves the saw that much. You know, the saw moves maybe a quarter an inch each way, and the 500i is a whole lot more. The 500i, you can still actually hear the saw popping, something hitting itself when you do that. But anyway, another thing I want to talk about, I don't even know if y'all can see me. Cut my head off. Yeah, maybe you can, I don't know. You don't need to see me anyway, you can hear me. That's all that matters. But the 661 is pretty stiff too, right from the gate. But I did one more thing to kind of help it. I don't know if it's going to help it or hurt it. But either way, I will we'll find out. It had this in it. And of course, I ordered the suspension kit for the 462 to put the foam piece in the 400C to try to stiffen it up just a bit. It's not terrible, but it's, it's not as bad as the 500i, but it's not as good as the 661, I guess you could say. So me putting that foam piece in helped it, quite a bit. But the 661, back to what I was saying, I get sidetracked. So I ordered that suspension kit. I put the foam piece in there in the 400, and then I had these rubber grommets left over, and I got to looking, and I thought, well, crap, they'll work in this. So on the 661, it has one of the old school big round ones on the clutch side, and on the starter recoil side, it has like the rubber grommet that I showed you. So I put the thicker one in here, and like I say, I don't know if that helped it, hurt it, or made it indifferent, but anyway, it's a little bit stiffer. It don't have as much flop. I think that's the fuel filter in the tank flopping, but it's quite a bit stiffer. So I don't know if they make these bigger round things or not. And what I thought about doing for the 400, and I don't know if has, if you can order the rubber bushings or if these yellow ones are any different. But I thought about trying to take the black ones out of the 661 and stuffing in here if they're a little thicker. Because like I say, these are like yellow ones, and you know, if the 661s are a little thicker, you could stiffen this saw up just a little bit. Like I say, it's a, I don't know how much you can see that. You know, it's still got a little variance in the saw, which makes it a little more comfortable. You don't get as much vibration. But I found even in the newer Huskies, they're a little, the 5 Series Huskies, they're a little softer than the 3 Series Huskies was. Of course, they're trying to make everything to where it's more, you know, comfortable and lighter and all that kind of stuff. And I found if you're not real careful, I'm not as bad at it now as I was because I've kind of gotten used to them. But I found that if I wasn't careful, that my back cut would start walking on me some, you know, just because of the saw having a little more forgiveness to it, you know. I'd be kind of leading up on it a little more and really couldn't tell it because it didn't have much resistance, you know what I mean? Or I'd be letting it fall down because, you know, whatever, you get what I'm saying. And that may just be me not being very good at cutting. But anyway, so I'm going to check into that. I don't know if them's any thicker or not, or if it's even worth messing with. Because like I say, I've been cutting with them for a couple, 2 or 3 months now, or whatever, however long it's been, and I've not really just had any detrimental trouble out of it. So, and I may find that I want to put that smaller grommet back in the 661, I don't know. But anyway, that's how you can utilize the suspension kit from West Coast Saw for 2 different saws. You can use the foam piece in the 400C and the grommet piece in the 661 if you wanted to. And, you know, which I know a lot of people don't run long bars on these 400s, and a lot of people ain't gonna fall much timber with them, big timber with them out west or whatever. But you know, it's just it's one of them deals. It'd be cool if they would come out with some of these the bigger round grommets that was a little thicker, you know, a little beefier. And like I say, they may have one. Looked at them. I hadn't really thought about it until tonight, so I don't know. That thing stiff, boys. Made it stiff. I'm gonna walk to death. And honestly, when the saw's just sitting here, it kind of made this gap a little narrower at the back. But I think maybe as that grommet wears down, it may be okay. And it may put too much pressure on this back grommet. I'll cut with it when I put the 4-wrap handle on it. If I don't like it, then I'll change it back. Of course, because I ain't like I've got anything. I mean, it ain't like I'm gonna be cutting a lot with it. It ain't like I can use another saw if I don't like it. But I'm not gonna tear it back down until I get a 4-wrap, because I want to get a 4-wrap for it. I don't use the 4-wrap all the time. I back bar a lot, and I wasn't even going to buy 4-wraps for these. I probably said it in the video, but it's kind of like one of them things, having a 4-wheel drive vehicle. You know, you don't really need it all the time, but whenever you do need it, it's pretty nice to have. So I don't need a 4-wrap all the time, but there is some instances, not much in when I'm just felling trees, but sometimes on yard trees, it's kind of nice to have it. So, or a big tree, if I don't feel like back barring the whole thing or whatever, you know, it's kind of nice to have. So, but anyhow, like there was an instance when I cut that dead tree with the top hung up, I wished I'd had a 4-wrap on it, because I, you know, just wished I would have. There was some times I felt like I could have used it. But anyhow, that's what I got going on. I've got the 462 done, and shop's a mess, garage is a mess, whatever you want to call it, because I've got all this crap going on. And two, I've got one of the giveaway saws cleaned up, and I've got the other one just about done, and I'm gonna package them up and get them shipped tomorrow or the next day. So it's crazy. Checking out these foam pieces. Yeah, that's that big in that 661. The 400 one that big. It's that big, it's just canted forward a little bit. So when you're filling down on it, it makes it alright. So it's all good, I think. Big rascal there. I think this foam piece is a little different because it's newer. They're all the same. I'm just on loco. I ain't cut with that 462 a little bit, but it seems to do alright. I'm anxious to see how it cuts with the bark box now. It's dark now, so I ain't gonna get a chance to go out and cut with it, but tomorrow I'm most definitely going to cut with it and see how it we'll see how it stands up to the old 500i and the 400C. So be looking for that to come out. We've got a lot of new subscribers over the past couple of weeks. Really appreciate that. Welcome to everybody that's new. Go check out some of my older content if you haven't seen it already. For all y'all that's been here for a long time, I appreciate you. And keep on liking, keep on subscribing. I just wanted to share this little tidbit. And I know a lot of people's not going to do all this crap with their saws. It's kind of impractical. The 500i needs the billet cover because the clutch, they say the clutch cover is so weak or whatever. I probably would have never had a problem out of it because, of course, I don't run a 6-foot bar or nothing like that. But I've got on a kick of putting West Coast saw stuff all over my chainsaws, and those bark boxes, I think they really do help. So, because that 400 with the bark box and the filter, to me, had as much low end as that 462 did. Now I'm thinking that it's going to be different now that that's got a bark box and everything on it. And I might already say this, I've retuned this one since I put the filter and the bark box on it. You got to reset the M-Tronics. And when it cools down, I'm going to reset, probably not right now, but when it starts getting down to like 50 for the high, 60 for the high consistently, I'm probably going to retune the saws. And then when it gets down to, if it gets down to 30s and 40s, I'm going to retune it too, They say you're supposed to do it like in the summer and the winter, just reset the M-Tronics. I'm going to do, it don't take but like a minute to do altogether, and I don't reckon it hurts it just to do that. So I'm going to, if anybody knows if you're not supposed to do it a lot, like reset the M-Tronics, let me know. But as far as I know, it don't hurt to reset the M-Tronics. So I'm going to do it quite often to make sure that my saw is the way it's supposed to be. And I know they're M-Tronic and they're supposed to tune themselves and everything like that, and they do, the way I understand it. But the way I understand it, maybe if it gets so cold, unless you reset it, then the metering can't go that far or something to do like that, the way I understand it. But anyway, that's enough of that, and we'll catch y'all on the next one. I appreciate you. Have a good one, and Stihl is still your daddy. Have a good one.